Base cooling. It's one of these topics we covered earlier in this series. However, it's also one of these topics that have had the most change in the last several weeks here as we've worked through the upgrade preview. Now, the reason for that, or the biggest reason for that in my base, is that the input temperature and the output temperature are now the same going through the water sieve, rather than having a set temperature that we can actually use to kind of run this stuff, pump more heat into the water over here, than have it output at the same temperature over here on the right, which would normally be 40 degrees Celsius. Another piece of equipment I was using to cool down water was the ice maker here. But one thing you should notice is that this thing is now producing 16,000 DTUs. So what I'm trying to figure out here is, am I crazy? Did it used to only output 4.5? But the thing is, I've looked through all of the patch notes in the last month, and I haven't found that they actually changed the ice machine. However, just operating the machines here, you can see that they will output a lot of heat now. I mean, maybe not like tons, but that's definitely more than 4.5. Look at how hot the ice machine is getting over here. Boom. And it started off at around 45. So yeah, just like this. I had all of these disabled for a long time now, but look at this. I'm just running this in this one single cycle, and look at how hot they're getting. So I can't really confirm that anything has changed here, but it sure looks like it's like these are a lot hotter now. So this one over here on the left now has some ice, 30 kilograms of minus 20 at 20 degrees. And the ice is now in the machine too, so they actually emptied it. Huh. So rather than it dropping down on this whole weight plate, it seems like the ice machine is different. And so I'm not going to rely on the ice machine and what it's doing at all until I understand what's going on here. So Otto, if you do me the... Oh, you ran away, bud. There we go. Bubbles has it. We'll just turn a couple of these off. Yeah, look at this beast. It's up to 100 degrees Celsius. Man, if you had this in your house would catch fire. But yeah, you can see it's now inside of the ice maker rather than dropping on the ground, which really just kind of blows up a lot of the automation and everything that I was doing in this area. So with ice machines in question, I think this brings us back to this arrangement that I have down here. So we have a thermal aqua tuner down below, and then a steam turbine on top of that. The steam turbine is designed to remove a lot of heat and convert it into electricity. And what I'm using here is a loop where the aqua tuner actually cools down the steam turbine all by itself. So as this liquid loop runs through here, it runs past the steam turbine, and then it will cool the liquid, and then that runs out for the rest of the loop. Now I'm using it over here to produce liquid oxygen, which is very kind of aggressive as compared to what you want to do for your base, because I only want that to be 20 degrees Celsius or so. Not minus 200. And I'm doing the same sort of arrangement down here, but this will be for liquid hydrogen. So therefore, I can do two things. One, I can cool down all of the air that's produced inside of these electrolyzers, which is quite hot. It's at 60 degrees Celsius when it comes out of this. Maybe, if they keep it that way. So rather than relying on an ice-cooled loop, I'll just use the aqua tuner. And then I'll run the rest of that water through this loop over here so we can radiant cool the walls of our base and make sure that everything stays at a nice temperature. Now I could do this arrangement up here, but the thing is I've already got so much going on in this area. Processing the oil that comes out of the metal refineries and then pumping that power back into the metal refineries and all that stuff. So that area is already quite cluttered, so I'm not going to worry about it. I will just build it right over here. I have a good amount of space, and it's nearby the stuff I want to cool, so sweet. I'll use insulated mafic right down here, and the things that I want to have in this area down here are going to be a couple of cooling loops. So I want to have 2 thermal aqua tuners, and these will be made out of steel. So if you're starting up a new base, the idea would be to rush steel so that you can deal with the temperature inside of your base, because once you have this, you should have a good amount of cooling. So for that, you'll need to set up a metal refinery, but rather than using oil or something like that, just pipe the water in out of one of your puddles and then dump it back out into another puddle. So use something like polluted water. That's actually a good way to go. because you can get a little bit more temperature range out of it. The point is this shouldn't take a whole lot of steel. It should only be those aqua tuners and any of the equipment that we have inside of here that needs to be built out of steel. Okay, so to build this thing, there's 3 important pieces that we need. First off, we're going to need a liquid tank. This is just going to store our liquid, and it's also going to average any of the temperatures that run through there, because if we have a little extra water inside of there, 100 kilograms or so, well, it doesn't even have to be that much. It could be quite a bit less. It will average the input temperature and the contents temperature so that you have a nice steady temperature on the way out. The next piece we need is going to be a liquid shutoff, and then under that same sort of tab right there, you need a temperature sensor. So as this liquid flows out here, we're going to check the temperature here, and if it's above a certain range, then we're actually going to kick it over this shutoff and send it to be cooled down. And if it doesn't need to be cooled down, then we can just send it on its way. It'll just go right past this. Okay, so now I need a high temperature room so I can actually make some steam. And inside of this room is going to be that aqua tuner. And then on top of this, I'm going to build a steam turbine, and that'll just be right there. So that will require plastic as well, so you need a little bit of plastic. So you have a good amount of milestones that you have to cover in order to get this far. But okay, so once I've detected that this water is too hot, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right up over here, and then using a little bit of radiant liquid pipe, I'm just going to go ahead and run that just behind the steam turbine just a little bit. And that's going to spend a little bit of energy that's left in here, right? And keep this thing relatively cool. So that's the exact same thing that I'm using up top. And this works so well in the liquid oxygen system that this thing actually gets cold enough to condense liquid oxygen. So yes, I'm condensing liquid oxygen with my steam turbine. So the reason that this thing is self-cooling is because it just removes like 800,000 DTUs or something like that, but it only outputs 80,000. So it's actually, very easy to make a steam turbine that's self-cooling. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this down here. I'll just use a liquid valve. You can also use a bridge. So priority 1 is going to be this pipe right here, so that won't back up. And then as we cool stuff, that will then jump over there. This should work in such a way that it's either running loop 1 or loop 2, but never really both at the same time. Okay, so one of the other things we need to deal with here is water for the steam. So I like to just do this number right here, where you just dump this water right back inside of here, so it just keeps recirculating. This thing just becomes a closed system over here. So inside of here, you can put water, you can put polluted water, doesn't really matter. We'll just give this enough water so that we can actually flash it into steam. I like to make sure that there's a couple 100 kilograms down there. Once I've had that much water down here, this has, there's always been enough to do the job. So I don't have to worry about this thing not having enough steam to run. Okay, so the first loop I'm going to try to tackle is this one right down here that's cooling all of the oxygen. So it's got a little bit of polluted water and clean water. Ideally, inside of this cooling loop, you'd want to use polluted water. The reason is because it has a larger temperature range, right? So it doesn't turn to polluted ice until it's -20, so you can actually run it cooler. So what I'm going to do is just set up a little bit of a pump over here and then try to fill this loop with polluted water to begin with. So we'll just kind of do this number. It doesn't need to be insulated. I could just use normal pipes. Uh-oh. That thing's actually going to start running. Okay. How much water do we have inside of here? Might want to disable this, otherwise I think I'll start cooking my dupes. Please don't. Please don't run. It will get hot. Travaldo? No! Flip the switch! Leon! Thank you. Thanks, bud. Alright, so I'm just filling this loop up here with polluted water, so I have a bunch inside of there. Alright, so while they're doing that down there, let me just show you what's been going on over the last couple of hours. I just let this game run for a little while, and they completed a lot of the steel production that I needed. So the dupes completed all of that. So I now have my bunker doors set up, so I can set up many different silos here for my different rockets. So I'll have a total of 1, 2, 3. So I can have a total of 9 different silos right here if I wanted to. So 9 rockets should probably be enough, but I could still do more even if I wanted to. And then, as I bring back stuff, they could end up over here. The other thing I should mention here is that that was enough research to finish up the last bit of research that I needed, so I now... Come on, game, stop lagging on me. So now I have everything unlocked. So I completed the last bit of research down here, unlocking the sightseeing module, which I probably won't use, and then the biological cargo bay down here. So the cool thing about the biological cargo bay is that I can go to a resource planet like this and maybe bring back a gassy moo. Ooh! I've never actually ranched a gassy moo, and I've never even looked into it. Okay, I think I potentially looked at it once when it first came out, but that's like the last big mystery to me, and I've kind of kept it that way just because I've been curious. I'm kind of curious to figure it out. I haven't seen a lot of gassy moo stuff, although there might be a good reason for that. I'm also at the point here where I'm going to start to try to process a little bit of liquid hydrogen. So I've got that plumbed up. I don't think I'm delivering anything to it just yet, but you should see some of that start to kick in. Holy moly, look at how much I have down there. 100 some kilograms. I feel like I had 300 or something at one point, but whatever. Why is this not stacking on top of that? What? What's going on here? That should always stack. Clay? What? If this doesn't work, oh no. Oh, it's because it had a little bit of carbon dioxide. Oh, that'll be fun. It'll just turn to ice. That had me nervous there for a minute. There we go, 1 kilogram chunks of gas. Beautiful. All right, so I now have lots of water down here, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. And I can re-enable this thermal aqua tuner. Boop. Hey, sweep that up while you're there. Please, Stinky. No. Okay, the last thing I need here is a little bit of a liquid vent, and then we'll close this room off. Okay, Travaldo, that's enough polluted water. Somebody want to finish this up? All right, so that is now sealed off. We have a little bit of oxygen inside of there. That won't be much of a problem. We could put a pump in there and get rid of all of that oxygen, but I think the pressure down here will be enough to where the steam will just continue to run through the turbine. It's not going to be like it's a super effective turbine. It's just going to run to get rid of the heat. And that's all. That's its only purpose. And it will repower its own smart battery. So what I'm using here is I just have a power line over here. And I'm just bringing power in this way. And then the power is then going to come out of the steam turbine and recharge that battery a little bit. I might want to expand on this grid a little bit, but the idea is I don't think this will run quite as much once things get down to temperature. And I think I might want to get rid of that pipe right there because it's running backwards. Piping problems. All right, there we go. Of course, now I flipped the priority, but that should be all right. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and empty all of the liquid pipes down here, and I'll just kind of rework them down below. And this thing down here is currently running till it gets to temperature. So I have this set to run if it's above 16 degrees. Its current temperature is at 24, so that's doing pretty good. We should see we're about to flip on over here to steam. The water is getting very, very close to 100 degrees. Okay, so now I have steam inside of here, so I've got a lot of steam pressure. Look at all that. Okay, so now I have steam down here, and I have lots and lots of it. Look at that, 61 kilograms. So I want to get the oxygen out of there. Let's go ahead and try this real quick. We'll use priority level 9, and we'll just unbuild this one tile real quick. So hopefully we can push that oxygen out of there. There we go. I just deconstructed them on both sides. The oxygen is flowing out. Now priority level 9, I'm going to rebuild those. It probably would be easier to pump this thing to a vacuum before you started running this, but oh well. Okay, that oxygen does not want to get out of there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break into this area up top, and I'll get rid of this one tile right down here. There we go. Woo! So now that steam is running all over the place. Yow. Perfect. So we got a bunch of steam down below. That thing's got a little roasty up top, but you know what? It's all right. I'll just go ahead and mop this stuff up, take care of it. Let's send that to be above 14, and we'll get this loop up here. We'll start to cool things down. There we go. Come on now. There we go. See, now we're cooling things down. Okay, I think the better choice there would be to just put a pump in there and pull it to a vacuum first. But hey, you know what? It worked. Got a little roasty, but it'll be okay. Okay, so now I have this big loop of nice cool water. And what I want to do is actually get that over here into my electrolyzer system so that I can cool it down. Because if I look inside of there, it's 40 degrees or 60 in some spots, depending on where you're looking. Point is, it's a little bit too warm. I'd like to make it nice and cool. So, copper pipe will go in right there, and then I'll run an insulated spot, just like that. And then a copper pipe will return. Now, since most of my oxygen flows out of the bottom, it might be a better idea to have 2 layers, like that. I'm not really hurting on materials, so I might as well just bam, there you go. Have more of that. So this is the hot return, and this is the cold out. So the cold out will be from that pipe right there, and the hot return will be right up here. And that means I'm just going to deconstruct all of this because I don't need it. And yeah, a little bit of water will escape the system, but that's okay because I have lots of it inside of this tank. And you don't want the whole thing to actually be maxed out, because if it is maxed out, it won't run smooth. So, spill a little, then just mop it up. All right, so here's the temperatures as they are right now. And now once the water is running in there, take a look at the temperatures. Ooh, it's just going down and down and down and down and down. So if I take a look at the output temperature of the oxygen, you can see in some spots here it's 40, 50, 60 degrees. Depending on where you're looking at now, it should be cooler, and it should continue to get cooler as things continue to run. So that's 30 right there, 29. And I'll put my buddy buds back up here again for like the 50th time. So hopefully they will last this time. And that way I can fill my base with floral scents and drive away the germs and improve the morale throughout my base. Unless, of course, I've made it too cold. Which I might have made it too cold. It likes 20 degrees. Ooh! Look at how cold it is! But then again, look at what's going on up here. So the steam turbine is running. It's kind of refilling its battery a little bit, but then I have to pull in more from the grid, So more or less, I have this thing outputting water at about 2 degrees Celsius. So maybe I want to bump that up just a little bit. It might be a little too cold. Put it above 20. It's going to remove 14 degrees Celsius. Okay, above 18. Tweak that temperature just ever so slightly, like it's a thermostat. So look at that oxygen. Ooh, it's 19 degrees Celsius, 15, 21, 25, 24. Basically, it's nice. Okay, so while delivering cool oxygen to my base is definitely going to make a big difference, as far as, obviously trying to keep that temperature down, there's still a lot of heat in my base, and there's still a lot of heat around certain pieces of equipment like this down here. You can see this is all very 60 degrees. It's quite hot. All right, so since I no longer need this little cooling loop thing here, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. Kind of nice to get that out of the way. I've got so many pipes and wires and everything just kind of doing what they need to do over here. And some of them get bumped out of the way because they have to go to some of this equipment, so that should clean things up a little bit. Delete all of that. There you go. Yeah, so I can get rid of this weird little junction here. That's actually coming in from the shine bug reactors over on the right. And that's where that's flowing in from. So more over there, just straight down over here. If I just build this wire, boom, just like that, that'll be nice and clean. However, we're not here for wires, we're here for cooling loops today. So now that this cooling loop is doing its thing, and it's cooling down the oxygen quite nicely, I should say, down to 20 degrees Celsius, perfect. It's still, at 20 degrees Celsius, so I can still use it. Okay, so rather than just have this water run in this little loop over here on the right, what I'm going to do is take this water and start to feed it into the rest of my base. So I'll just use normal pipes right here just to kind of take a little bit of the heat out of this area, and then run it through my big old cooling loop. We'll see what happens. So the first thing I need to do is get rid of all of this clean water inside of here. And the dupes are not going to be able to take care of that all by themselves, so I'll just put a little vent right there. There we go, and then the water will just empty as it flows through. It's really chugging. Woo! Alright, so here we go. I've got the loop kind of hooked up. So now 14°C water is flowing through here. We should be able to see the temperatures are going to start to go down. So just for reference, over here on the left, we're at about 29.7. So we'll let this run for a little bit and see what the temperatures drop down to. So you can see by this point, it's already back up to 29 degrees. So it's going to have to wick away a decent amount of temperature before it's actually going to cool the base down much. But what we should see is this thing will start to run quite a bit once that water makes its way back there. Sorry, it's like a slideshow. Holy moly. I think that must be a rocket returning every time it runs down to 5 frames per second. Maybe? Maybe it was launching? Oh yeah, the door's open. Negative 257. Am I at the point of liquid hydrogen yet? No, it's getting close though. Oops. I left this thing here. Okay, but this whole thing that I was doing here, I don't really care about that anymore. This is just a cooling pool for my glass production now. It's not really used for anything else. So I'm just going to get rid of all of that. And then I'll rework these pipes so that they're working correctly. I'm getting really tired of these super low frame rates. Like I'm not even running the game as fast as it could go just because I don't know, it just drives me nuts. All right, there we go. Now the pipes are running. I know you can't really see them, but let me just... And this thing contains 200 kilograms of water, so that's good. Excellent. Okay, so take a look at the temperatures now. Yeah, back to 25 degrees in some spots. Some other spots it's still a little warm, but give it enough time, and the temperatures should return back to normal. So while I'm not sure that this was the best guide, because there's just so much stuff going on here, essentially all I did here was, again, just kind of run an aqua tuner to a steam turbine, and that cools that water out. And then I just run that through a loop through everything I want to cool. So in this case, I'm cooling down all of the oxygen that goes into my base. And I'm also running it through the loop that runs throughout the rest of my base to cool that down as well. So that's it. It's not a lot to it conceptually, but when you lay it out in a larger base, it looks like spaghetti, doesn't it? But it still works. So that's cool. All right, so now let's see if I can make some liquid hydrogen. So I've got this thing piped up, it's ready to go. If it's above negative 255, then I'm going to cool it down some more. So then it comes out at negative 262, but this time I'm actually running it this way, instead of running it back and forth, right? So all the cooling should be going through this system on the left, so I could hopefully produce a little bit more liquid hydrogen. So this is cooling loop, so I guess this would be loop number 2, where it goes over here, goes through the aqua tuner, and then pumps out over here like that. And then if this is cold enough, then it'll actually just run right here. But whatever's left here will actually run through. So this is actually running colder than it normally would. Ooh, man. So there we go. That's loop 1. So it's just running just like that. So I have to get hydrogen down there. Negative 257, I think, in order to condense it. So I'm down to 243. So I got a little ways to go. All right, so I'm going to try to send this rocket here to the nearest asteroid, which is going to be this carbon asteroid. Okay, so if I just wanted to go to 10,000 and back, it is not very efficient to run 3. You can see that it actually takes quite a bit more. Hang on, let me look at petroleum. If it takes 3, 1,304, as compared to just 2, which is 379. So I think that's pretty obvious. The reason I'm just running to this one and back is because I just want to pick up iso resin. Oh, that's what's going on. Liquid, liquid, liquid. I must be getting a little bit of liquid hydrogen because a little bit has pumped around. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Liquid hydrogen. Ha! I've decided to send a couple of my dupes on a sightseeing mission. Just because, why not? Who wants to go on a sightseeing mission? Leon. We'll also throw in Merc. And how about Biscrimson? There we go. All our dupes are on board. Enjoy the ride. Oh yeah, definitely forgot about that. Hold up. Alright, here you go, dupes. Enjoy the ride. Once the door clears. Boom. There we go. Alright, so this system cannot keep up with 1 kilogram a second, so I have to drop it down just a little bit here. That's right, I'll build in a little bit of a gas valve here, and I can set it to something that's going to be a little bit more reasonable. Oh, hey, our rocket's back. Welcome back, duplicants. Oh, they all fell. How do you feel? You feel good? Was that a nice trip? Where's your helmet? You definitely forgot your helmet. Oh man, look at how much liquid oxygen I have up here. I might have to turn this off. I'm kind of hoping it'll back up and stop by itself, but I don't know at this point. Alright, so there we have it. I've got liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen running now. So now all I gotta do is build up some more rockets over here and see if we can get ourselves deeper into space. Not only that, we were able to tackle the temperatures inside of my base. Let's take a look at that overlay real quick. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. Everything's back down to a nice, comfortable 21 degrees Celsius. Beautiful. There are some hot spots. I might take care of those a little bit later, but you know what? Things are looking pretty good. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. And if this looks like the channel for you, maybe considering that subscribe button. I'll see you again next time. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.